let's go here with the design of the new Mazda SUVs. Here in the front we can see more like the Audi single frame grille in the styling, but I think very beautiful and clean. Vertical black fins inside. This is also one of the top trim models. Daytime running light is basically split in two. And on the BMW X3 side, we have both invited today to have the best comparison, so to speak. Here we have the typical BMW double kidney. Since the facelift, also a little bit changed here with the headlamps, for example. New daytime running light, and this the M Sport Pack here with more black accentuation. Turning indicators, both cool in their own way. Here BMW replaced the daytime running light. Here also somewhat the same for the Mazda, but on the inside. And here you have this pulsing effect like a heartbeat. As for the length comparison, 4.75 m or 187 inches for the Mazda CX60. We have 20-inch wheels here, 18 to 20 inch, so these are the biggest ones. And then with the BMW, here almost the same length, is around 4 centimeters or 2 inches shorter. And the wheelbase is also more or less the same. And we also have 20-inch wheels mounted here. Also starts at 18 inch. In the rear we can see the BMW has a more rectangular design, more three-dimensional tail lamps since the facelift, and real exhaust tips here. Once again M Sport Pack with a black accentuation, and the Mazda CX60 here also with very cool design of the tail lamp with that signature. A little bit more roundish this whole design. In the lower part also black contrast, and then fake exhaust alert from the Autogefuhl fake exhaust police. Turning indicators pretty coolly with the BMW, also very wide. With the Mazda also interesting, but I think it's just too small, isn't it? Let's move to the interior and start with the key fob comparison. Then door closing sound. Ooh, that's not good at all, indeed. And also like, when you let these ones snatch and so on, so they didn't pay too much attention to that. However, at the inside of the doors, wow, this is the bright interior. You can also get a dark interior if possible. Sporty steering wheel, real buttons, for example for the volume, and they also give you a good haptic feedback indeed. The seats, only animal skin in the higher trims, but you can also get base fabric seats. And the problem is they don't offer side support at all. And that was even better in the CX5, for example. And when you just sit statically in it, it's fine, but again, the material is hard, and while driving, you slide around too much. Then headroom with 189, 6'2", some headroom left. However, this is the one here with the panoramic roof. So that costs, of course, some headroom, but it's still fine and for 12 people. This one, by the way, a roof you can actually really open. It's actually very, very wide. Actually. Interior cockpit overview, Mazda CX60. Wow, look at that. It's just so lovely here. The matte wood, then the bright fabric. So much attention to detail and really fun and love while building this interior. I just love it. At the same time, you have good user interface with manual buttons everywhere, still the real stuff, and it feels really good. I especially appreciate the buttons that are easy accessible here for the heated seats, heated steering wheel, and the cooled seats. Digital instruments, clear to read, and they also change according to the driving mode. It takes a while, so there you have to wait for it. Or for example, if you go to the sport mode, wait for it a little bit with a visualization, and there we go. And you also get a proper head-up display. Classic shifting lever, pretty thick, secure. And then here you have this step logic. You have to go right first and then back and forth. I prefer it in a little bit easier way because you have this unlock here at the back part anyway. You can control the infotainment system here from below, and also nice clicking sound. Reduce and easy layout of the Mazda infotainment. To me, that's absolutely fine. And most of the time you will use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then you can also use it as a touchscreen, just not in the Mazda menu. However, now with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, they made it standard that you can also control it while driving, so you don't have to activate that anymore. It's just that the standard Mazda infotainment system can only be controlled from below. Rear seats of the CX5. What's cool is that they open super wide, almost 90 degrees. Hardly any space here. I do hit the knees on the back on the seat here when I'm driving as a tall driver. So legroom is not a thing here. Yeah, that will be better than in the other model like the CX80, for example, or CX90 in the US. Headroom in the rear is also fine. I can still put a hand over my head. So the comfort in the rear is quite okay. It's just that the legroom is not that much. Rear doors in the X3 don't open as wide as in the Mazda, so harder to install child seats and so on. And in this case in the all black interior, but there are also different colors available for the interior of the X3. Let's see about the legroom. So the seats have this recess here, and indeed my knees fit here. It's not that there's abundance of legroom, but definitely more legroom than in the CX60, and headroom a little bit more, I would say. The seating comfort itself is comparable, but definitely the legroom is the crucial factor here. Compare the BMW front and cockpit and stuff. Door closing. That's better actually, as for the door closing sound. Inside of the doors, also nicely done, a little bit less spectacular. This is man-made leather. It's softer, actually better in the quality than the Mazda. And also the side bolsters here are like underneath the surface are better in comfort. At the same time, there are side bolsters, so you're being kept tighter by the seat, and that is more comfort, especially while driving. Headroom is a little bit more here, but that's also the one without the panoramic roof, so that's not very well comparable in that case then. Interior cockpit overview of the X3, I would say a little bit more drawn back in comparison to the Mazda, but also appreciate good user interface, real buttons here, climate unit, also for the volume jog and so on, and also at the steering wheel. So from controlling everything, both are very nice, I feel. You also have the lower control knob to control the infotainment system, but you can also control the BMW internal system via touch. You can also go for the Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto, and both vehicles also offer wireless support for that. Classic BMW shifting lever, easy solution, and gives you this, classic racy feeling. Digital instruments on left side speed, right side RPM, and they also switch a little bit according to the driving mode. Oh, now the engine goes on. And you can also see the driving modes actually in the head-up display. For example, the sports mode gets this additional RPM meter. As for the trunk comparison, let's open them with the keys. Let's see which one is quicker. Yeah, comparable, isn't it? But what's not comparable is that the Mazda here, with 570 liters, indeed has the bigger trunk. Here more than a meter. Cable can be fitted underneath. Oh, need to clean that one up here. So really cool also here with this retractable cover that automatically folds in and out, and we can also fold the seats quite easily right here. The only thing is that you can see here that they fold flat. The front seats need to be way more in the front, so there's not much space for the seats to fold. Interesting. Then the BMW X3, 450 liters, so way less, and it's mainly here because of the length. And then underneath there's hardly any more space, and the width is actually quite good. It's also like 110 or 43 inches. The only thing that works better here is that when you fold the seats, well, you have to grab over, but then they directly fold flat even if tall drivers are driving. As for engines, 4 or 6 cylinders, BMW 2-liter 4-cylinder or 3-liter 6-cylinder, the Mazda 2.5 liter 4-cylinder for the plug-in hybrid, or then the 6-cylinder petrol and diesel. In Europe 3-liter petrol, in the US 3.3 liter petrol, and the diesel is also at 3.3 liters of displacement. So Mazda goes a little bit more for displacement, whereas BMW also offers a higher performance version, for example X3M and so on. And the plug-in hybrids, which we have here today, there the Mazda has a little bit bigger battery. So we have the figures 11 kilowatt hours, but that's net. 18 kilowatt hours figures, that's the gross figure. So there's a buffer. So it will have a little bit more electric range, like 50 kilometers, 30 miles, whereas the BMW is at 40 kilometers or 25 miles. Welcome to Thomas's Comparison Driving Lounge, starting with the Mazda. And we do an acceleration from 50 kilometers an hour. With both drivetrains, let's go. 120. Plop, that's 150 kilometers an hour. Wow, pretty quick. Yeah, that was quite decent, and indeed is a little bit quicker than the BMW, 5.8 seconds versus 6.1 seconds here in the plug-in hybrid drivetrains, if you compare those. And when we're already at speed, what about like the higher speed regions? Let's see, from 130. 150, 60, 180, and here now at higher speeds, lane changes, quite stable on the road, 20-inch wheels mounted, but now quite loud indeed, so at very, very high speeds, it seems to be a little bit louder. But of course, that's totally a German thing, so most normal highway speeds will of course be way lower, and there the noise insulation is actually quite decent at normal speeds. Sport mode with the X3, and let's also accelerate from 50 kilometers an hour with the power of both drivetrains. Let's go. $130, $150. So maybe a little bit slower just. Whoa, that's way more silent indeed. 170 kilometers an hour. Yeah, maybe the Mazda's a little bit quicker from the get-go because more electric boost. And here 180 kilometers an hour. Just cut it here. And also the Mazda has 2.5 liters of displacement, what I like actually. But especially at higher speeds, the BMW is so much more silent, so the noise insulation is way better indeed. Didn't believe that it's so notable indeed. Wow. Which vehicle does transport more driving fun? In they're both fun, definitely, but I think the X3 because you feel a bit more connected with the suspension and also with the seats. That's what I like better with the BMW. Steering I indeed like better with the Mazda. Yeah, so that's indeed a close battle. The faster you drive, the more silent the X3 is, that's for sure. Then again, always keeping in mind, is that worth 20,000 euros more? Maybe your wallet can tell you that. Now here in the corner. So remember, Leah was shaken up quite well in the CX60. And now it seems way calmer and she seems pretty relaxed here. And yeah, that was really relaxed, you know. This, I mean, also a lot of fun. So especially for the passengers with these seats here, they just keep you tighter actually in the seat. So a better experience than in the X3. There, once again, when you want to stick with Mazda and pay less money, get the Mazda CX-5. That one delivers more driving fun. The CX60 does not have this sporty emphasis. And no, it cannot keep up with the BMW X3 in the sophisticated driving feeling and this combination of comfort and sportiness. We have an X1 versus X3 comparison or more content to the CX60.